I'll go with OBS first because some reason it lags. Now we got the TikTok one. That works. We'll go ahead and maximize this. I'm pretty sure. Let me check, make sure everything's going good. It's going. It's going. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get on subject then, babies. Europeans gone nuts. Let's go ahead and check this out.
In parts of Spain, France and the UK right now, as migrant gangs from Northern Africa and the Middle East violently try to take over and intimidate innocent people.
Why are there violent migrant gangs from the Middle East and North Africa and Europe? This seems like...
Why is there violent and illegal gangs all over the world in all European nations and white countries?
an unforced error. Really, it seems like it shouldn't happen.
Spain is currently in crisis, with ongoing clashes between migrant gangs and Spaniards following the violent bashing of an elderly man in Torre Pachato.
Remember what I said yesterday about as soon as one country is able to crash out and successfully make a change because of the crash out?
Oh, hold on. Let me turn this up a little more for you guys. Sorry about that.
Then you're going to have all the other ones doing it. And now you're starting to see this happen in France and also in the UK.
In America.
And again in Spain, a man with...
Has you guys been destabilizing the Middle East for the past 70 years? Then why aren't they in Saudi Arabia doing this? Why aren't they doing this over in Dubai? Dubai and Saudi Arabia are in the Middle East. Why don't you think about that?
Yeah, what about China? Why they doing this in China?
Right, come back. Yeah, think about that. So what? Yeah, who cares? Like, they know better? Yeah, they do.
The baby was callously threatened by a knife-wielding gang for simply...
Look at that. That guy's got a knife behind his back right there. The antagonize, squared up against him and then antagonizing him. Like, it's just a white dude in Europe. Huh.
walking down the street.
There's also not just the guy with the knife, but there's 5 of them there screwing around with this white guy. Like, really?
Oh, he's got the knife behind his back.
Oh, then also look, he's got a baby. This guy's got a baby and he's got to deal with this in his own country. How crazy is that?
You're trying to square up on a single dad with a baby? What is this? Oh my God.
And in the tourist mecca of Barcelona, the cobblestone laneways are no longer filled with people enjoying their vacations, but with hundreds of Muslim men chanting.
And I do have to say, if you ever read the Quran, you realize how evil these people are and how they want to... Why am I disconnected from TikTok? What's going on TikTok? TikTok Studio. Where you at? What's going on with you? Nothing. Just being stupid. But yeah, if you ever read the Quran, you realize how evil it is and how it calls for the killing of other people that aren't Muslim. Like, that's just insanity. That religion should not even exist. It calls for murder. Murder's wrong.
This commentator sent a stark warning, saying, if you wanted to visit Barcelona, Spain, now it's looking like Islamabad, Pakistan. France is also in...
How the fuck does that happen? Yeah, how the fuck does that happen anywhere? What I think is so funny about this is the fact that a lot of the other countries in the Middle East don't take any of these people. Like, I never hear about UAE, Qatar, or Saudi Arabia, or like, there's one more of them. I'm not thinking of the name. They never fucking, I never hear about this problem there ever. Yeah, like, it's crazy. Like, they reject them. Really?
They just come to predominantly Western white nations. Why is that?
Really?
A migration mess with violence running rampant in the streets, like at the Fête de la Musique last month, where hundreds of young people were stabbed with syringes and property set alight.
What the fuck?
Online commentators were in shock with the footage, with this person saying, this is France? This looks like Ghana, not France. And two women were left injured and terrified after their car was surrounded and destroyed by rioters following the PSG Champions League victory.
These people are pure evil. It's insanity.
Hey. Nothing says a soccer celebration like burning down a car. Ah, good.
All right, at this point, I'm just gonna call them demons. Who does that? Just terrifying two women in a car. That's ridiculous.
In the UK, this
absolutely insane.
With more daily departures from Phoenix, it's easy to leave the desert.
Funny and
in the
skip.
Do you know what the best part about this is? This is the opening plot for V for Vendetta. That's what's so funny to me about this.
Situation is even more dire, with daily occurrences of violent bashings and stabbings by migrant groups on innocent local victims.
You notice they're all dressed in black and they're all covered in their face. These people are just downright demonic.
What's wrong with it?
And it's going worldwide. This is the same stuff going on in every European nation in the United States. Like, these people are evil. They be sentenced to death.
Well, here's the reason why it happens. The reason why it happens is because they get away with it. It's simple. They get away with it. There's enough of them in the area, and they think that nothing is going to happen to them.
Yeah, why is there no accountability for all these crimes? There's none.
And that's the reason why. They don't do this in, like, and this isn't, you've got to understand that, like, this is not simply a religious issue, because Muslim majority countries like Saudi, you think Saudi Arabia puts up with this shit? Fuck no, they don't put up with this.
No, but they do encourage it.
What do you think happens? You go around, you do this over in Dubai. You're dead. That's what happens. You're dead. And they kill you. And so the problem is that the people do this because they know they can get away with it. That's the reason why. Saudi Arabia is a dictatorship, man. They still not getting away with it over there.
Yeah, but it's only one, whites can't stand up for themselves. Whites have less rights. Whites are the minority worldwide. Whites are the problem. When are whites gonna have the same rights as these criminals? Like, that's insane to me. Just wait until the day that the white people decide to stand up. That's going to be horrific.
I mean, yeah, but they're not. Yeah, well, you call it whatever you want to call it, but like they're still not getting away with it. And
knife crime is at an all-time high, with people being randomly targeted on the streets.
Let's go.
He's got a big old kitchen knife, man. Of course, it's against a white dude again. It's just pure white hatred.
He's got his left hand.
Women's advocacy group Women's Safety Initiative is speaking up about the issue to raise awareness about the dire state of play in the UK at the moment.
Don't they like not report, like I've heard that they don't report the amount of like sexual violence that happens and like the increases. I don't know really if that's true, but I hear it a lot. Is this the country that banned ninja swords? Yes, that would be the country that bans ninja swords. That would be correct. Yes.
The silent impact of mass migration on women's daily lives in the UK is a stark reminder of the point that we have got to in this country. A country that has chosen multiculturalism over assimilation, ultimately leading to what we have
It's
now.
not multiculturalism, it's anti-culturalism.
It's anti-white.
I mean, if you have people that are going in and they're coming into the country and raping people and stabbing them,
oh, and it's also anti-Christianity.
that's not multicultural. Like that, like multicultural is like whenever you know, I go downtown to Austin and I can go to like a Italian restaurant or a Mexican restaurant or a barbecue place. Like that's multiculturalism. This isn't a culture. This is behavior. No, it is multicultural. Well, what I'm saying is like they don't do this in their own countries. They do this here because they can get away with it. Well, you're wrong. No, I think that a lot of you guys don't understand. They do. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, and in some of the places they do, and that whole area is so bad that they leave.
Parallel communities with limited cross-cultural understanding. Let's take a look at Borsley Green, one of the most dangerous areas you could possibly live in Birmingham, with 181 crimes per 1,000 residents.
181 crimes per 1,000 residents. So that means 18% of people are causing trouble?
And I bet you Chicago's worse.
Bro, I think my 2% number might have been too low. I don't know, man. This is bad. But actually, to be fair, you have 181 crimes. I bet they're committed by like probably like what, fucking 20 people. There's probably 20 people doing everything.
And a large portion of these crimes being of sexual and violent offences.
Yep.
Now let me make it clear, the demographic of this ward is significant. Less than 10% of this ward account for white British people. Violence and sexual offences constitute the largest crime category.
I think this is a big problem that they have, is that they view any sort of crackdown on this type of behavior because these people come from different cultures. And I think that there is like more of a allowance of bad behavior because they assume that cracking down on it would disproportionately affect people of a certain ethnicity. Therefore, it's racist. And
it's just white hatred. White hatred. That is a crime. And then you hold these people accountable. They are the racists.
I think that's the reason why they can't solve this problem. It's because they're afraid of effectively looking bad or being called racist. And so, like, because if you can't identify what a problem is, and you can't look at it and approach it in an objective way, you can never solve the problem. It's kind of like how Twitch can never solve the problem with hot tub girls, because they can never acknowledge the fact is that it's a bunch of girls that are trying to sell OnlyFans on Twitch. Because by doing so, you would acknowledge that this is a one gender problem, and in doing so, that would be sexist. So all they can do is create half measures, or it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this, but like they can never deal with the problem directly. They have to deal with it through like multiple levels of abstraction.
You need to deal with it head on. It doesn't matter what the sex or race is. Get her done, baby.
So they can create plausible deniability from disingenuous people that want to accuse them of bad behavior. And that's what's happening here. It's not sexist if it's one's gender committing the problem. Well, the problem though is that people aren't willing to accept that idea. And people are still captured by the idea of if a certain policy or a certain action disproportionately affects a group of people, then that policy or action, if it disproportionately affects a group of people who are deemed marginalized, is fundamentally racist. And it's an optics argument, right? It's something that looks bad. And I think that's really it. They don't get punished, so they do this. Well, exactly, right? They don't get punished.
Yeah, because it's hatred towards white people. Therein lies the problem.
Why don't you cut your nails? I do. What do you mean? My nails are cut. What are you talking about? Idiot. Idiot.
Shut up, Baldy.
Green, making up 50.3% of all crimes reported. They are averaging at about 150 to 160 violent sexual offences committed every month.
That's a lot.
And commentator
it's like, what, fucking like 4 or 5 a day?
Matt Goodwin agreed.
So a 24-year-old man has been brutally murdered on the streets of London, outside a luxury hotel, by another man who was allegedly trying to steal his watch. This is merely the latest horrific symbol of how out of control and horrific London has become.
Jesus.
Just look at the stats. Shoplifting is up 54%, theft from...
How are people not just putting more money into the police to arrest the people that are shoplifting? Because this is what's so crazy about it, is that it's pretty easy to solve this problem, right? You just get the police and you arrest the people and that's it, right?
Well, the problem is that they created self-white hatred, and they think everyone else could do what the hell they want, and white people are the ones held accountable. So our own governments are racist towards their own people. Amazing.
Right? Put them in jail, you're done. And I don't know what to say. Yeah, ask our leaders that, Zach. We defunded the police. Listen, and by the way, I know that I'm throwing stones in a glass house because, like, I've said the same stuff about us doing this here in the U.S. Like, I realize that you guys, like, we have the same problem that you guys have, but it seems like it's even worse in Europe. And parts of Europe. Obviously, Europe is made up of many, many countries. But like in places like the UK, France, and Spain, this seems like a huge issue. This heads up, Sky will be over-exaggerating. I'm not saying it's not true. I think that it's probably really bad.
We're all white countries.
And I think anybody could have expected this to happen. This video is very misleading. Well, just real quick, like, what do you think is misleading about this video?
Dude, like, the white guilt's got to stop. And people need to start standing up for themselves and their country. That's the only way we're going to get it back.
I'm in the UK and there's literally nothing happening. The clips they show are 1 to 2 years old. So about the UK, I'm not really sure. And so, like, some of these clips, there's nothing happening. Like, okay, so there's nothing happening to you, and that's, I don't know. I mean, he's lying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where this guy lives. I mean, it's impossible for me to say. I mean, the things happening in Spain are happening, like, they happened like 2 nights ago, 2 days ago.
Yeah, there's a commercial to skip.
I mean, it sure seems like this is a problem, though, right? I mean, like, if you see, like, all this mass migration in the country, like, do you see this as a problem? In the UK right now, as far as I know.
The person is up 41%. 70,000 phones were stolen from people in this city last year alone. There's a rape every hour, sexual offences are through the roof, and it's not just the crime that bothers me. London has also become a symbol for liberal progressives of how they'd like to see the rest of the country.
Oh.
But do you really want the rest of the country to look like London? Hundreds of thousands of people who don't speak English, our national language, hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants, hate marches on the streets of our capital city every week, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah hate marches.
And all of this...
How can they do pro-Hamas and Hezbollah hate marches if they have all those hate speech laws over there? Like, I don't understand this.
It's one-sided. They can do all the hate they want, but a white person can't have hate. It's racist as hell.
I'm a UK viewer at this point. All the things are 100% big issues, mostly pointing at minorities. Of course, the video is definitely over the top sensationalist, but not untrue. Two-tier system. I'm telling you guys, like, this is, I really think this is going to radicalize people, and they're going to vote for somebody who's like one of those like fucking like V for Vendetta level like authoritarians to like solve this problem. And
Yeah, the hate speech only applies to white people.
think that they'll do it militarily. I think that's clearly what's going to happen. I don't see how that's not the outcome.
Stark evidence and footage of countries overrun by violence and division, yet their governments and leadership do.
And by the way, a lot of people are naming names. I think the level of extremism that a person is going to have in order to solve this problem, nobody is expressing that level of extremism in the current window of politics over there. I think it's going to be somebody we don't even know who they are, or it's going to be somebody who dramatically shifts what they're saying to an insane way.
Dude, all these rioters and mass, they need to go to jail. Open up the prisons. Get rid of these racist people. Bye-bye. Quit preaching hate and murder. Disgusting, filthy demons.
Is weak. Yeah, anybody like Nigel Farage or any of these people, they're going to seem like liberals compared to this person. The Swedish guy, no? Well, I don't know about that. I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Absolutely nothing. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer seems to be more concerned about protecting the illegal migrants than protecting his own people.
And there lies part of the problem. He's a self-hating, racist, can't say that word, hates white people. That guy needs to burn in hell.
Reform UK's Zia Yusuf slammed
Well, he's been cosplaying as caring about it recently because he doesn't want to lose elections.
Prime Minister for his incompetence
Seems
on
that
the
way.
issue.
It's all garbage. No one's listening, which is why his approval ratings have collapsed at historic speed. Look, there's north of 1.2 million people here in this country illegally already. They are crossing the channel illegally at record numbers, right? So things aren't not.
You hear that? Illegally. All white nations are being overrun by illegals.
Improving fast enough. They are getting demonstrably worse
every
every single week. And the only way we're going to solve this problem, Mike, and restore a social contract that is hanging by a thread in this country is by deporting every single one of those 1.2 million people who are here. We need to be standing up enormous amounts of detention capacity. We need huge numbers of charter flights. We need return agreements with countries to take.
See this guy, what he's saying? That's close. That's close, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot more than that.
These people back, and if they don't take them back, we need to be doing things like stopping issuing visas altogether. We need to be scrapping the foreign aid.
And Starmer's latest humiliation, his deal with Emmanuel Macron of France over illegals, which commentators believe will have absolutely no impact on fixing the current issue.
As far as their main kind of
Probably
policies go, one of them they bang on about because of that ridiculous, ludicrous summit
Check
last.
crime stats yourself instead of fear-mongering, attention-grabbing videos. You mean the crime stats that places like Sweden intentionally obfuscate in order to hide the idea of migrant crime? Are those the crime stats you want me to look at?
Le summit, as we've called it here, between Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer.
Nice try.
You know, they seem to think that finding some form of middle ground and finding an agreement on stopping the migrants is going to stop them. Well, it isn't. You know, they've now got the idea, Yvette Cooper has, that they're going to send some people back to Iraq. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. Nothing of what they do works.
No, it doesn't happen.
No one is going to go back to Iraq because even if they have a returns deal, the European Convention of Human Rights in its court will interfere and prevent that deal from being enacted.
And human rights don't ever involve white people or Western nations. It just doesn't.
And in a shock move, French reports indicate that France is now giving all Palestinians in Gaza the opportunity to apply for asylum. This commentator revealed the news, saying a French court has ruled that all people from Gaza can apply for asylum in France. That is 2.1 million people
That's a lot
that
of
can
people.
come to Europe. Not only that, because of freedom of movement, they could potentially travel anywhere in the EU once inside France. Sounds like a bad idea.
Sounds like a bad idea.
And whilst the leaders of Europe refuse to do anything, the people have taken things into their own hands.
And look at all those criminals roaming freely across the streets. Shame.
I just don't understand how, like, one thing that's really confusing to me about this is that why is it that Europe has some sort of unique responsibility to solve and alleviate these problems in the Middle East when there's a bunch of Middle Eastern countries there that these people could go to instead? It seems really confusing to me that Europe is the one that's supposed to solve this problem. Yeah, we don't. Well, World War II, white guilt. Yeah, I mean, you can say whatever the reason is at all, but it just, like, it's completely illogical. I don't see it at all. Why do you think the countries are doing this? Second-class citizens? Why are countries doing this? I think that... So, well, let me finish the video and I'll talk about why I think it's happening.
Send a message that this will not be tolerated.
We saw it. This is recent. Yeah.
Let me translate that for you. We hate white people. We hate Christianity. We want to do all the things we want to do. And screw you, white people.
Spaniards have also had enough and are responding with violence.
Yep, here we go. Oh boy.
Look at all the hate and evil.
So, wow. Attack the random car with people in it. So, what I think is happening, the reason why I think it's happening is that I think that there's a number of different reasons why. So, some of the reasons why I think it's happening is, number one, it's that a lot of the people that are in these Western cultures think that they have some sort of guilt or obligation to let these people into these countries because of previous and in some cases legitimate ways that their countries have historically taken advantage of, Middle Eastern countries or other less privileged countries like ones in Africa, right? So that's number one. So there's like a degree of generational guilt through because of colonialism.
The guilt is ridiculous because whites are less of the population worldwide. They're a minority. It makes no sense at all, other than this is just pure white hatred.
Colonialization. That's one. And then number two, I think that you have a lot of people that have a lot of these values and they think these things because they never have to experience them themselves. So like, for example, that chatter who's saying that about London, he's saying that this isn't really a problem, but he might not live in the area where it's a problem. So, like, for example, here in Austin, there are a lot of places where there are pretty much only white people. Like, I mean, in Lakeway, for example, this is the case where, like, there's a handful of minorities, but, like, the demographics of, like, Lakeway in Austin, like, just so you guys get an idea of, like, kind of, like, just imagine, like, this is Austin, right? And so, like, this is Lakeway, and this is, like, Montopolis, and, like, this is I-35. This is, like, a...
Let's talk salary.
Great. What do you typically offer for this role?
It's competitive.
And if it was a number, it would be...
The amount of, like, white people here versus Hispanic people here is, like, inverse. Where, like, it's, like, 90% white people here versus, like, 90% Hispanic people here.
Well, I don't think we need to go into those details. It really doesn't matter. It's just a complete Muslim uprising and hatred for Western civilization and white people. And until white people stand up for themselves, this is going to continue happening. And the governments need to step up, or not, this is going to get fixed. It's just going to get worse from here on out. Only time will tell. Well, thanks for joining the live stream. Hope you guys enjoy YouTube and TikTok. Have a good night, babies.